Now, Agent 3, what is a bad touch?
Touches that make you feel not so good, ma'am.
Like a slap, a kick, a pinch, and most important, if someone touches your private part. And what do we do when someone gives us a bad touch?
You tell a trusted adult, ma'am.
For help, ma'am. Tell them, don't do that, ma'am. Agent, I see that you understand. Now it's your mission to spread this information. Just remember that good touches are okay, and bad touches are not okay. So, Agent, go spread the word. Yes, ma'am.
Join us next time on Journey TV as life and business coach Kishelle Davis shares her lowest points and how she was counted out many times. Hear how she overcame and found great success and how these experiences pushed her into purpose and currently feed her life's work. Tune in Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on ZNS. Journey TV, we share life's truths.
At the Dixon Hill Lighthouse in San Salvador to let you know that marine protected areas make dollars and cents. A well-designed and managed network of protected areas can generate income for nearby communities. From MPA managers to lodges to eco-tours, there is money to be made.
Healthy marine ecosystems help to protect our islands from climate change and other impacts that we cannot control. Healthy coral reefs help to break down fake waves, and mangroves absorb storm surge and help to protect our coastline.
Older and larger fish tend to carry more and healthier eggs than younger fish. Fish replenishment areas will allow fish to grow bigger and ensure that we have more fish now and in the future.
In a replenishment area, fish are free to grow and reproduce. As their populations increase, more fish will spill over into other areas where fishermen can increase their catch and their income.
I support the establishment of a marine protected area on my island.
I support the establishment of marine protected areas on my island.
I support the establishment of marine protected areas on my island.
I support the establishment of a marine protected area on my island, and you should too.
And you should too.
And you should too.
And you should too.
See the future with Bahama Protected.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, the president of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce weighing in on investor confidence in Grand Bahama. Also, the country's deputy prime minister says sealing a deal for Grand Lucayan remains a focus. And a centenarian in the West celebrating a major milestone. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Shoshana Roll-Farkas, and as always, it is so great to have you with us. Off the top tonight, the president of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce, Greg LaRota, adding his voice to the debate on the state of investor confidence in Grand Bahama. He says he too questions the level of investor confidence, particularly foreign direct investment. He believes much more must be done to make Grand Bahama an attractive place for investment. LaRota giving his input on the Prime Minister's remarks, and he says the matter needs to be addressed and corrected to improve the economy, and he believes the port plays a major role.
I listened to the president of the Port Authority in his response to what the Prime Minister said, and he seemed to be on a different page from the Prime Minister, and he is touting some of the recent investments in Grand Bahama. Of course, no one's denying that, but I I believe what most of us are looking for is that major investment, the likes of which the island have not seen in many, many years, to come here and have a significant impact to the employment and to the economy.
LaRota says both the government and officials from GBPA should meet to address the issue, and adds that if that does not happen, Grand Bahama will remain in the state that it's in.
Like in this particular instance, we have the Prime Minister saying one thing, and we have the President of the Port Authority saying the opposite. So one feels like we're almost in a crisis type situation when it comes to attracting investment, and the other feels like, no, we have a lot of investment going on. So what that would result in is one side, the government, feeling like there's a problem that needs to be fixed, and the other side, the Port Authority, feeling that, no, everything is good. And we know everything is not really good, or we would have seen more investment. So somewhere in the middle lies the solution, but until they get together and talk, have some constructive conversation around what needs to be done to attract investors and improve the economy of Grand Bahama, we're not going to get anywhere.
Well, tonight, a local businessman and advocate for the small business sector is also calling on the Port Authority to do more to attract investors to Grand Bahama and to help jumpstart the economy. Ramiko Knowles reports.
When it comes to the Prime Minister's statement concerning low investor confidence in Grand Bahama, local businessman Darren Cooper says no debate or rebuttal is needed. He says Grand Bahama has been in a state of despair for many years, and many businesses have had to close their doors. And that is why, he says, the remark is not a shock.
The Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas said what the Grand Bahamian community has been saying for years, that the investor confidence is on its all-time low.
But President of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Ian Roll, has shared a different view, noting that investors are still interested and the level of confidence is still intact. Well, to that, Cooper says the Port Authority must come to grips with reality.
The port is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's not living up to its responsibilities. It's not living up to its management. And so that's why the defense mechanism is now in place. You know, let's defend what we have been doing. And the reality is you've not been doing anything.
The local businessman lamenting the amount of once thriving businesses in the Freeport area that are now closed. He blames this situation on the sluggish economy and the lack of investors.
I've counted just from 8 Mile Rock Corner to Cartwright, 196 businesses that is closed on the Queens Highway area. And that's not the downtown. That's not the International Bazaar. That's not the Port Lakaya Marketplace. That's not the many abandoned shop plazas that has vacancies, that have had businesses.
Cooper adds that for too long, Grand Bahamians have heard about discussions underway from interested investors that have yet to materialize.
The investment that we would have expected or we would have thought we would have had has been something that we've been talking about now for 7-8 years. This is on the table, that's on the table, interested. What is it to say that we have this on the table and this is being done? We've heard from under the Minister's administration the announcement of the cruise port, the Carnival Cruise Port. And so we could see it. We could see that the statement that the Prime Minister has made for Grand Bahama, it's true.
He says it may be time for a change of leadership in the Grand Bahama Port Authority.
Confidence that has been placed in that executive and the executive team of the Grand Bahama Port Authority is very low.
Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Now, yesterday, when our ZNS News team spoke with President of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Ian Roll, regarding claims of low investor confidence on Grand Bahama, Roll says he disagreed and is adamant that investor confidence remains intact. The port president also noting that there are a number of investment projects in the pipeline for Grand Bahama, including the $100 million cruise port project in East Grand Bahama, Doctors Hospital, 2 solar companies, Royal Caribbean and ITM Group, Margaritaville with Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line, the Weller Group, and he says Bahamian groups are also looking to invest in Grand Bahama Island as well. And as the Davis administration works to revive Grand Bahama's economy, they are giving focused attention to finding a suitable buyer for the Grand Lacaille Resort. According to Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, sealing a deal for the sale of the beachfront property is one of the most urgent areas of interest for investment and growth on this island.
To expedite now the sale of the resort with the best possible terms, the Board of Lacaille Renewal Holdings Limited, the special purpose vehicle created to facilitate the sale of the resort, has engaged the services of Colliers International, a world-renowned real estate company with a vast professional network that is accustomed to handling large-scale, high-end touristic transactions. Madam Speaker, much of the Bahamian people's hard-earned tax dollars have been invested in this resort, and we will not tarry in causing there to be as swift as possible a transaction on the best terms possible to move this investment along.
Well, he says 7 serious inquiries about the property have been submitted, and the government is cautiously optimistic that this process will help to advance the matter as swiftly as possible. The DPM is encouraging Bahamian investors to participate in the process.
Companies interested in purchasing the resort will at a minimum be required to provide proof of funding and a vision and a plan to restore and revolutionize, help us open again the economy of Grand Bahama with a shared vision for the growth and development of this island. The offer process has begun in earnest. It will close at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, March the 2nd, 2022. Offers will be subject to rigorous due diligence to be vetted by Colliers and the Board of Lacaille Renewal Holdings Limited. And we're seeking partners that plan to invest heavily in the property and in the island of Grand Bahama.
In other news, there is a new executive team heading the Grand Bahama Christian Council. Tonight, we will hear from the council's president, who is outlining his agenda for the next 2 years in office. Jamila Mizik reports.
A new leader is at the helm of the Grand Bahama Christian Council. Superintendent of Methodist Churches on Grand Bahama, Reverend Kenneth Lewis, is now the president of the council. Lewis says although the board has not yet met as an executive, an official meeting is slated for February 12th. However, he says he has already begun the process of formulating what he believes the council should pursue. The Christian Council president says there's a need not only for wider participation from churches, but ecumenical relationships.
In the short term, what we're looking for is to increase membership. All churches in the Grand Bahama on Grand Bahama are quote-unquote members of the council, but many of them do not know that. And so our aim and our objective is to make that known and to create an atmosphere where more churches participate in the council. Also, we want to create an ecumenical atmosphere where those members of the body of Christ who feel that they are sidelined or otherwise may find an open door where they too can participate in the objectives of the Christian Council.
He says the long-term goal is to partner with the government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority to establish a permanent administrative office for the Grand Bahama Christian Council.
And also to create a multi-purpose center where you'll have a permanent disaster and hurricane, disaster center, where people can go where there's an imminent threat of a hurricane or disaster, where you will have a commercial kitchen, you will have a center for the children to play, you will have bathrooms and rooms for married couples with small babies. We also want to create a place where battered women can come and have a room, a bedroom, a kitchen, where they can feel safe.
Reverend Lewis adding that they would also like to create job training programs.
Youth programs, but a job bank, because you have executives, businessmen and women who have businesses on this island who can then submit to us their needs, and we can either train the young people who do not have the skill sets or the money or the academic achievements to go off to college. We can train them to pursue those job opportunities.
Now, the president says although he did not espouse for the position, he is excited and grateful for the opportunity to serve, adding that he intends to bring all of his God-given skills to the position. Lewis says he intends to work closely with Christian leaders and create good relationships, and he's thanking the previous leadership for the work they have done. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
A swearing-in ceremony taking place yesterday at the administrator's office in West Grand Bahama for the newly elected local government practitioners in the West Grand Bahama district. Here are the details. In the West End Township, the chairman is Constance Hanna, the deputy chairman Morton K. Wilshcombe, and the councillor Keith Torrey Young Munro. In the 8 Mile Rock West Township, the chairman is George Jimmy Smith, the deputy chairperson Sandra Rollins, and Roy Brown is a councillor. In the 8 Mile Rock East Township, Alfred Williams will serve as chairman, deputy chairman is Rena Mufford, and there are 2 councillors in that township, Shilin Hall and Tommy Tucker. In the Penders Point Township, the chairman is Nakia Hunt, the deputy chairman is Reverend Leslie Woodside, and Farad Roll will serve as the councillor. The chief councillor and deputy councillor was also elected. Businessman George Jimmy Smith is the chief councillor for West Grand Bahama, and educator Keith Torrey Young Munro is the deputy chief councillor. That's going to take us to our first break. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
Come on down. Come on down. Now.
At Lake Pavilion, we have pre-need, current plot, and niche packages. We are located at number 1 Coral Place, Sergeant Major Drive. Come visit us today and let us ease the burden by planning ahead.
At Pizza Hut Freeport, you can enjoy 2 medium Pizza Hut 1-topping pizzas, pan or thin crust, and a 2-liter Coke for just $23.05. Get your pizza your way for only $23.05.
Fat inclusive.
Pick your toppings and order today. Call Pizza Hut downtown at 352-9191 or Pizza Hut East Sunrise Highway, 373-8500. Pizza Hut Freeport.
Alive brings to you the iPhone 12 64 gigs for $249 when you switch to Alive postpaid. Alive, believe in best.
Welcome to Kalina General Insurance Agents and Brokers, where we protect your dreams. Here at Kalina General, we offer you all areas of business insurance. We are here to protect your home, your vehicle, your business, liability products, bond products, marine products. We service you with every area that you would need that pertains to insurance. One of the most requested items that we sell as a part of our portfolio is the bonds. Now, the bond is a very pivotal feature that is offered by the Grand Bahama Port Authority to its licensees. We've just launched a new insurer, which is called Indigo. And we have a great feature that is attached to that. You just need to have your license for a year. And anyone between the age of 25 to 75 can drive your vehicle with your permission. So come in, seek insurance, seek coverage so that there is a peace of mind. Should something happen, you know that you will not be disadvantaged or you would not be set back as a result of not having adequate insurance or being properly insured. We can be reached at 351-9300 or 351-9339 or 351-4057.
If you are in the mood to create your very own special Valentine's Day experience, lingerie, games, toys, and odds, call Stu with Late Night Fantasies, 242-473-2070. Shipping is available.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Ruth Nell Technical Institute is working diligently to reach as many young people around the country as possible. Like other educational institutes, Ruth Nell was impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, but the technical school is getting back on track. President Fred Delancey says they will be introducing a virtual platform, and they are now in the process of testing the system.
We have engaged a group of young Bahamians with this virtual platform education thing. And this platform can reach, as I said before, the entire Bahamas, where youngsters and residents alike, residents generally, they can be exposed to technical education experiences. As you know, some technical classes could be held in the online. Some could be online, others need to be held in person with practical applications. But nonetheless, persons all over the Bahamas can now be exposed to technical and career education and training, as well as the high school diploma. And that's going to take effect today.
Delancey says Ruth Nell will be expanding to Abaco next month, beginning with virtual learning. He says the interest among young people on that northern island is high.
We talked with them today, and they keep on asking Mr. D, when you coming? But we'll be there shortly, very, very shortly. As a matter of fact, Abaco, I'm coming down Saturday. I have a list now of about 80 persons and who will be gathered in just simply one week and so forth. And they're interested in technical education especially.
Well, a celebration taking place in the West this week that is worthy for a queen. 8 Mile Walk's very own Centenarian is celebrating her 100th birthday. The birthday girl is known for her sharp memory and her sense of fashion. And as Jay Philippe tells us, she is sharing a few tips that she hopes can help us to live a long, healthy life.
Right now, I am 100 years old. My birthday is the first day of February. I born in 1922. I can't forget that.
Dalcina Dale Russell Smith, affectionately known as Doris, celebrated her 100th birthday this week. She was born and raised in 8 Mile Rock and still resides in that community today. Her family members gathered at her home to celebrate the big milestone while showering her with love. Even at the age of 100, Doris is still able to reflect on her younger years in 8 Mile Rock.
I had a little shop called the Golden Goose. And everybody come there for coffee and lunch. I could have cooked good them days.
To live to the ripe age of 100 is considered a blessing, and the Centenarian is offering some tips to her longevity.
I eat fish out the sea, eat seafood. Didn't like meat. I didn't like meat. The chicken come up later. I eat fish. I like fish.
Doris Smith says she never developed bad habits that could have possibly created health issues even as a teenager.
I never smoke, and I don't drink, and I never been to hospital. I had 7 children. I had already in that room up there.
The 100-year-old gem says family has always been her biggest support. She says as far as she remembers, her family roots are strong in 8 Mile Rock.
We are nice people, the Russell, the Martin, and the Jones. We are the foundation of 8 Mile Rock.
Get this, the Centenarian says she has never been admitted to the hospital in her entire life, and for this, she is grateful.
I thank and praise God. I never been in no traffic accident. As the first woman had a driver's license, public service. I never tried to get an accident. And I grew right here. I traveled plenty, but growing up here. And then up right here now. And that's the story of me.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Aunt Doris.
Happy birthday to matriarch Dalcina Russell Smith. We say, stay forever young. I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
Absolutely amazing. Great story, Jay. Well, now to our series on domestic violence. In part 2 of Fair No More, we will hear from a woman who is still grieving the loss of her sister who was brutally killed as a result of a domestic dispute. Tonight, she's calling for stiffer penalties for abusers.
Police say the victim was found with stab wounds to the neck, chest, and abdomen.
I fell asleep and this deep sleep to work. The phone rang, and I heard I could hear Casa like crying, and then the person said,
I know it's all you got to just be strong. And it's a fight just
they said, go to the hospital.
Siobhan Munning says she spent the early part of the day on May 24th, 2005 with her younger sister, who was separating from her husband at the time. Munning says her sister had dropped off her belongings at her house, but that call changed her life as she had no idea that it was her sister who was brutally murdered.
I rushed and I saw the ambulance, and I said, turn back around. I followed the ambulance. When I got there, they said, oh, no, you don't come. I rushed out. They said, no, you don't come. But what I've seen, she was just laying down there, and it looked like she was like just sleep, and you could see she was bloodied. Her hair was saturated in her own blood. It looked like it was just wet curls. And you were able to say, Taffy, get up. She was at peace, even though she was stabbed 26 times. And I still feel up to this day that the system failed her.
Her sister, 30-year-old Tiffany LaRota, a woman with 4 children at the time, all under the age of 13, was murdered at the hands of her husband. And she believes that this tragedy could have been averted as the police had left the home earlier that day because he had cut up her clothes. Munnings alleges that her sister then went to the police station. They returned with her to her home, but here's what they didn't know.
But all this time, he was sitting like a duck, observing her place. And after the police left, he rushed there, kicked open the door. He said he met her looking through the window. And then he pulled on, she's pull away, and then that's how the fight was agitated. And next thing I know, she was dead.
Were there any signs of abuse before this murder took place?
Yeah, they had their ups and their downs and make up and break up. They went through that because I went several times.
Just follow the light, darkness. You're gonna be okay.
Of course, now you eventually reached to a place of forgiveness, and so you would have met with him. What was that conversation like?
They allowed me to speak with him. I said, why did you do it? Why? I said, just tell me, why did you do it? I said, because you were able, you could have come to me. But he said, I don't know. He said, I met her she was looking through the window. He told me everything. And he said, while he was stabbing her, he said their eyes locked. And she said, whatever I do to you to bring you to this, she said, I am sorry. She said, I forgive you.
You're gonna be okay.
I hugged him. I forgave him. I said, at the end of the day, forgiveness is not about him, it's for me. But they just gave him 12 years.
12 years.
After hearing all of the evidence, and these were his words. Maybe God saved him for a reason. You know, some good can come from him. Maybe he could say, John, don't do that. I've been there. The system gave me a little break by giving me 12 years, or maybe God had it that way that I get 12 years.
But here's what Yvonne hoped.
You know, you have to stiffen the penalty. You have to, if not. And women have to love themselves a little bit more. It still starts from us.
You're gonna be okay.
Now, if you know of anyone suffering from domestic abuse or any type of abuse, they should contact the crisis hotline in Grand Bahama. The number is 727-2471, and Abaco 471-8036, and in New Providence 322-2763 or 422-2763. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
Are you ready to step out with designer shoes or handbags? Visit Steppin' Out. They've relocated at number 4 Old Sam's Plaza. Stepping out when you want to put your best foot forward.
Island Bedding is the Bahamas' leading manufacturer in mattress sets. But did you know we also carry top quality products like pillows, comforters, sheets, and much more. Our furniture line is also expanding to meet the needs of those rebuilding. We have bedroom sets, sofa beds, recliners, accent pieces, and so much more. Come and experience Island Bedding today, where everybody deserves their own island.
Enjoy a romantic 3-course meal with a complimentary wine or apple cider this Valentine's Day at Off the Deep Edge Restaurant for only $65. For reservations, call 352-1664. Walk-ins are welcome.
Take part in Esquire's Couples Contest from February 7th through the 12th and win a dinner for two. For more details, call 352-8816. Happy Valentine's Day from Esquire.
Third Dimension on Yellow Pine Street introduces its new home improvement center. Step into our brand new, fully stocked showroom for the latest in doors, tiles, housewares, kitchenwares, bathwares, vanities, power tools, electrical, and plumbing supplies. So stop by our showroom to view our full range of products or call the Home Advisor hotline at 602-0935 today. We are your home advisors.
Hey, I'm D'Amico Nesbitt, and welcome to Health Bites, where every week we give you a helpful tip to help you on your health and fitness journey. Today, I'm going to give you 3 signs that you need to cleanse or detox. We all know the body cleanses itself, but sometimes if you don't drink enough water or eat enough grains or healthy food, it can be slowed down. 3 signs that you need to detox. Sign number 1 is if you feel lethargic and tired all the time. Sometimes as the toxins build up, you got a lot of waste inside in your intestines in your body, and your body can't absorb all the nutrients, so you're gonna feel tired. If you feel like that, you might be time for you to get a cleanse or detox. Sign number 2 is bloating. Sometimes you have that bloated feeling in the gut, and you wonder why you're just holding on to this water. That could be a sign that you have a lot of waste build up, but the same thing, you have toxins build up in your body. It's time to flush them out. And sign number 3 is trouble sleeping. Sometimes the same problem, if you have waste build up and toxins, it can block your melatonin, and which is what helps your body to go to sleep. So when that occurs, a good idea to get past that. Thank you for tuning in, and remember we're located in the Raven Mall. We also have locations in Nassau. Stop in and check out any of our cleanse and detox products to help you get rid of that waste.
That's what I told her. Bring the winding thing here. This is Rick and Script, so show me emotion. Hey, wind and go down low.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your number 1 news team covering the North, the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Cassio Campbell, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We thank you for your support. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team, I'm Shoshana Rowe-Parkinson. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, a 6-month snapshot of the country's finances. Where things stand on legislation addressing gender-based violence. Government MPs defend the legislative agenda. And changes on tap for the Broadcasting Corporation. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Super Fast Internet for Less. Best rate, no debate. Sign up today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. Within the past week, the Ministry of Finance has released 2 major financial reports on the state of the country's finances in the midst of the twin catastrophes of the COVID-19 pandemic and 2019's Hurricane Dorian. Well, the Economic Affairs Minister today outlined exactly how this data configures into the government's plan to revive the economy. Keishla Adderley reports.
The government is managing the delicate balancing act of increasing revenue and decreasing debt, all while monitoring the uncertainty of the times. With recent indicators providing hope for better times ahead, Minister of Economic Affairs, Senator the Honorable Michael Halkitis, gave this analysis from the 6-month report on fiscal performance released today.
Revenues have outpaced projections by approximately $162 million. The rebounding of our economy is largely supported by improvements in stopover arrivals and hotel occupancy rates. Revenue collections totaled $1.137 billion, an increase of $465 million over the same period in the year prior. Aggregate expenditure declined by $1.2 million as the government continued to contain expenditure. And the midterm deficit, the deficit at the half year, is estimated to be at $269 million, a $467 million decrease from the deficit of $736 million in the same period last year.
As for debt, which has taken debt to GDP ratios far past the ideal 45 to 50% to just under 100%, Minister Halkitis says it's coming down.
The central government's debt stock is now at $10.317 billion at the end of December 2021, representing an estimated 96.4% of GDP. So we see the percentage having declined slightly since June of 2021. And this reflects both an improvement in GDP and in economic conditions. It also reflects a reduction in the rate of borrowing during the first 6 months of the year as compared to the prior year.
And Minister Halkitis says expect that debt to fall even further as the government tightens its belt and continues to execute its borrowing plan agreed during the last budget.
What will happen is when we get to the annual budget, most likely we'll propose another borrowing plan, and we expect that we'll be borrowing less money. And hopefully, and our view is that'll start a trend as the economy improves. Our need to borrow becomes less and less. But yeah, we'll continue with the borrowing plan to finance this year's budget.
Though applauding the government's publication of its fiscal goals, international ratings agency Moody's has called the government's forecasts, including a $200 million yield from revenue enhancement measures over the next 2 years, overly optimistic. Minister Halkitis maintains, though, that he's already seen goals surpassed.
Well, their view is it's optimistic. Our view is, yes, it's optimistic, but we see all reports are the economy is bouncing back in terms of tourism, and the economy is open, employment levels are increasing, and we're pursuing efforts to do a better job of collecting revenue. So we believe we'll make it.
Keishla Adderley, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, property tax reassessments prompting some concerns among two organizations. This on the heels of last week's announcement that real property values would be reassessed in order to update some values and allow the government to plug revenue shortfalls. Minister Alcides maintains, though, that despite some questions and criticisms, he believes the government has operated within the law.
We have had some public feedback from both the Bahamas Real Estate Association and the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce. We had a meeting with the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce, I think, yesterday, where they were able to put some of their concerns to us, and we were able to answer them. And so we think we have a good understanding going forward. We have, up to yesterday, we were seeking to arrange a meeting with the Bahamas Real Estate Association, so that might have already been done, and meaning the time arranged, where we will, sit and have an exchange with them. We don't believe we are operating ultra vires the law, and so we'll sit and speak with them and explain our position.
Well, the acquisition of prime property here in the capital seen as key to breathing new life into the city of Nassau and, by extension, the country's main economic pillar.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honourable Chester Cooper, adamant in the House of Assembly Wednesday on the need for land reform. He was seconding a resolution that would allow the Accountant General to purchase and convey the Paris Court Road reservation. The sale would accommodate the expansion of a hotel property at the sum of $10. Cooper says the resolution will support the development and expansion of the tourism product, as well as show the government's commitment to revolutionize that sector. He acknowledges land reform has long been a thorny issue, while the absence of a proper land registry has placed many institutions and governments at a disadvantage.
There are also other areas where land and the rights to land have impacted Bahamian citizens and residents. One of those areas is the disturbing issue of beach access, particularly in New Providence. And the stance of this administration is clear. We believe that Bahamians should have simple and easily identifiable access to our beaches.
Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis, who presented the resolution, says the government is seeking to convey the strip of land to the owners of the Marriott Hotel on the corner of Nassau and Bay Streets. Now, BPL has a station on a portion of land owned by the hotel property, but according to the Prime Minister, there is no record to show the power provider had permission to build there.
So in exchange of that right, we are extinguishing the road, vesting the road by way of acquisition in the treasurer, and in turn the treasurer will convey to the owners. It clears up that long-standing issue for the owners of the hotel property. And it also gives us the opportunity to regularize BPL's existence on their property.
The resolution getting endorsement from former Prime Minister and Killarney MP, the Most Honourable Dr. Hubert Minnis, who too agrees it's vital to the country's continued efforts to grow the city of Nassau.
We must do all we can to revitalize our economy in general and tourism in particular. And as a member of this House, I am also a major supporter of efforts to grow and revitalize downtown Nassau. It is a historic city that has so much potential.
Well, while on his feet, the Killarney MP also questioned what is happening with other areas that would reinvigorate the city centre, in the process create jobs. He referenced the construction of the Central Bank's new headquarters and the Princess Margaret Hospital's new wing. The comments prompting a response from Works Minister, the Honourable Alfred Sayers, who reasoned that the focus of a government is set in a very specified way, as laid out in the speech from the throne.
The fact that a government may choose a different agenda from the previous government doesn't show a lack of focus. It shows that the sovereign will of the people in electing a new government carries with it the right to choose a different set of priorities, all of which were stated very clearly. The focus is Abaco and Grand Bahama. You want it to be Bay Street. You want it to be a subdivision up in Prospect Ridge. That's right. That was your focus, honorable member.
Prime Minister, the Honourable Philip Davis, says his administration has, in a short time, delivered on major commitments despite the opposition's criticism that Parliament has no serious legislative agenda. Mr. Davis clapped back at the opposition leader, maintaining that his administration has moved swiftly on key pledges. Here's Keishla Adderley.
Opposition claims about the government's progress in carrying out its legislative agenda defended by Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis yesterday. The Prime Minister, addressing the charge by opposition leader Michael Pintard, said it was sour grapes.
We appreciate that many are still licking their wounds. Many are still disappointed to be where they are sitting now. And I understand that you have to, sometimes this decompress. You need to find ways and means of finding solace for oneself.
Prime Minister Davis noted it's early days for his administration and compared their progress to that of the previous administration.
We elected only but 4 months ago. And you're complaining about legislative agenda, what you're doing. And of course, the member for Fort Charlotte quite ably gave a lesson on the role of governance and government. When there's a change of administration, you have your agenda, we will have our agenda. But let's look at your first 3 months when you were first elected. You took vacation. You all took vacation. Once elected, we hit the ground running. There's not to be a legislative agenda.
The Prime Minister says progress, though it may not be legislative, can clearly be seen in the public sector and in the interest of the everyday small man on issues ranging from COVID-19 mitigation to pensions.
So, for example, today, VAT is 10%. Isn't that moving and advancing our agenda that we are going to address the pensions of the pensioners? Didn't we not increase pensions within the 3 months? You're talking about what we did or didn't do? That's advancing our agenda, reinstating and making current the public service increments. Didn't we do that? Isn't that advancing our agenda? All the payments due to public servants that the previous administration were neglecting to address, like the nurses, that we would deal with it. Call the nurses today and find out when we did that. We did it during the campaign. Is that we had a 10-point plan. That 10-point plan was published before we were elected. Remember, free testing? You all laughed at us. You laughing at us now?
4 bills were tabled in the House of Assembly yesterday, 3 pension bills, and the Bahamas Agriculture and Marine Science Institute bill. Parliament resumes on February 16th. Keishla Adderley, ZNS Network News.
Well, Freetown MP Wayne Munro also using his brief contribution to the debate on the resolution in the House of Assembly Wednesday to defend the Davis administration's legislative agenda, charging that to suggest a government comes to office and begins to legislate aimlessly is a recipe for disaster. Instead, he says they are being both expeditious and deliberate where circumstances warrant.
We trust that when these pieces of legislation come before this House, like the parole and re-entry, which you will see quite shortly, the Cabinet willing, that we have all of this appetite for a legislative agenda. I do hope that we do not have the theatrics when the serious business of state legislation comes here. And I do trust that the other side saying that they wish to work together for the common good turns out to be the reality.
Well, still on parliamentary news, opposition Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard has appointed Michaela Barnett Ellis as his party's newest senator. She replaces former Vienna Gardner. Barnett Ellis is a noted attorney with years of experience in the public service, having served as chairperson of the Building NAD Contracts Committee, chairperson for the Operations Committee of the National Insurance Board from July 2017 through September 2021, and as honorary secretary of the Bahamas Bar Association from June 2019 to the present. She's also a dedicated volunteer. Mr. Pintard says Barnett Ellis's experience, perspective, and dedication to service is expected to further strengthen the Senate and help shape the country's future. Well, still to come, meet ZNS's new board and an update on the coverage of weekly cabinet meetings. We'll be back after the break.
And remember to tune in to the morning edition with LaDawn Davis and Charles Fisher at 7 o'clock weekday mornings. We also have news updates at every hour starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, at 6:30 and the National Report live at 7 p.m. All right here on the ZNS Network.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
A lot has changed over the past 60 years, but at Commonwealth Bank, our mission to build lifelong relationships with our clients remains the same. Our customers are more than just a number. Our customers are our family, and together we create banking solutions that fit your unique needs. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy the best home internet experience for all your work, study, and entertainment.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
Since eating at KFC, Shanika became the new savings meme. Get a KFC Mega Mash Bucket Meal with 8 pieces of tender, juicy chicken, a Mega Mashed Potato with gravy, and 4 buttery biscuits, starting at only $20, including VAT, and save like an expert at KFC. Order on WhatsApp at 557-3663. KFC Nassau.
Health is the greatest gift. That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is a premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter and innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health. Find us on 9th Fifth Terrace, Centerville, right in the heart of the medical service epicenter of Nassau, Bahamas.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
A female prisoner scheduled to be sentenced today for murder has died after being found unresponsive in her cell at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. National Security Minister, the Honorable Wayne Munro, confirmed to ZNS News that Lynette Charlton was found in her cell just before 1:30 this morning before being rushed to hospital.
Well, it's been reported to me that at about 1:24, while the correctional officers were making the usual check of the female dorm, they found the Jacinta Miller. Lynette Charlton was having difficulty breathing. They called the trained clinical nurse who was a correctional officer, and while they were taking Charlton to the sick bay area, she collapsed. The ambulance was called and she was taken to PMH where she died, I think. I don't have it clearly whether she was pronounced at the prison or at the hospital. I get the impression she was pronounced at the hospital. Yes, she had previous history of hypertension and seizures, and she had had a surgery last year for bleeding in the brain.
In other news this evening, as if you needed another reason to be super conscious of random online purchases, police are now warning about an iTunes card scam. And according to authorities, here's how it works. The suspects send emails claiming to be an acquaintance, colleague, or even family member and ask the recipient to purchase a card for them. The victim would only later discover that the request came from a fictitious email account. Consequently, police are strongly advising the public to closely examine emails with such request and then confirm the request with the individual named as the originator of the email. Furthermore, suspicious emails should be reported immediately to the Financial Crimes Investigation Branch at 356-6027 or the nearest police station. The push continues to get new gender-based violence legislation before Parliament. That from Minister of State for the Ministry of Social Services and Urban Development, the Honourable Lisa Ramming, who today revealed that safe spaces for those at risk have been allocated. Keishla Adderley has more.
As a former child who suffered abuse, torture, I had persons who joined hands, and I can just list them off. Some who were not family members, some who were neighbors, some who were persons who cared, and they pulled me up. And that is why I'm here today.
It's against that personal backdrop that Minister of State for Social Services, the Honourable Lisa Ramming, is launching a strong offensive against gender-based violence in the Bahamas, declaring her firm support of Article 3 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. She lamented today the findings of an on-the-ground assessment of possible cases of domestic violence.
We've uncovered numerous persons yesterday who are seeking help because of violence and other forms of help. And so we've joined forces with the Crisis Center, their counselors. We have trained counselors. And so we're going to try to assist these persons to bring them back into some form of normalcy.
That normalcy will be backed by new legislation. A gender-based violence bill is pending, though met with some delays due to attorney shortages at the Office of the Attorney General. Asked if the dicey issue of marital rape will be considered in this bill, Ramming responded this way.
You would see it in Section 2, what addresses what is gender-based violence, and it tells you who's included, and everyone is included. Everyone. Husband, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, everyone. It's all inclusive.
Minister Ramming says it was important to isolate and properly define acts of violence, including physical harm, sexual violence against men, women, and children, rape, sexual harassment, detention, and forced prostitution. But in the interim, accommodating those in danger is priority.
That is why I spoke about the new budget year. You would see the reflection of that because we need more safe houses. We have so many people calling and coming forward, and so we have to find places for them to be. It's not safe for them to be in our regular places that we have for persons who are homeless. That's not safe, because we have a lot of people coming in and out, so we have specific hidden places for those individuals. But we want them to know that we have somewhere for them to stay. We're going to protect them as much as we can, and we're going to do all we can to bring them back to some normalcy. But
Keishla Adderley, ZNS Network News.
Well, we turn our attention now to more upbeat news on the health front. That decrease in local COVID cases holding steady, with health officials reporting 35 for February 2nd. 24 of those cases on New Providence, 6 on Grand Bahama, 3 on Abaco, and 2 on Eleuthera. Hospitalizations also down, with a reported 79. 3 of the infected on the intensive care unit. This while 75 people recovered yesterday and 351 RT-PCR tests were done. The Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas' new board of directors officially introduced to management and staff today. As Fern Carey reports, the board includes a diverse group now charged with charting the BCB's future.
The new board members of the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas include Arthur Mabo as Deputy Chairman, Tanya Miller-Aubrey, Board Secretary, Charles Colbrook, and Exuma native Reverend Garth Roll. Veteran broadcaster Paiswell Forbes heads the team as Executive Chairman. The diverse group has vast experience in their chosen fields, including administration, tourism, and religion. And as they prepare to chart the way forward for the national broadcaster, Minister with responsibility for ZNS, the Honorable Miles Saroter, issued this charge.
Find a way to expand beyond 6:30 in the evening to 7:30 or roughly 8 o'clock, that you have a built-in audience. I have said to the executives that Bahamians as a whole, we want ZNS to succeed. We have grown up with ZNS. And the new kids on the block, just how we dominate the news hour, we'll be coming at you at the other stations in terms of entertainment content. I think competition is good.
Minister LaRota noted that ZNS is still carrying out its mandate despite operating on a reduced budget that was slashed from some $15 million down to $9 million. He also indicated that upgrades to the corporation will be among the items topping his agenda to ensure that all employees are comfortable.
And I always try to convince my cabinet colleagues as we move into the budgetary period, let's give ZNS the tool it deserves to be a leader in terms of news, but also in entertainment. You know, they represent the fourth estate. Everybody talk about the 3 branches of government, but it's the fourth estate that keeps those other 3 on their toes. And Bahamians are looking forward to a good product from ZNS.
Regarding future plans for ZNS, the minister said this includes providing the equipment and tools staff need in a highly competitive media environment.
Plan, or the government plan, will be about funding and putting that equipment and employee, because the employees are very important. I have no intentions to be one of those to order any particular shows to be canceled or to be put on. I am one of those who leave that to the professionals. They have a capable board, and a lot of the decisions that will be made, with few exceptions, will be made by the board itself.
Fern Carey, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, BCB Executive Chairman Paiswell Forbes also used Thursday's meet and greet to announce changes at the Broadcasting Corporation to effectively carry out its mandate to educate, entertain, and inform. The changes come as the BCB celebrates 85 years in radio and 45 years as the national broadcaster.
Over the next few months, you will see a very assertive and aggressive push by the Broadcasting Corporation in the following areas: new content and content creation, attracting and recruiting some veteran along with new talent to the corporation, upgrading of our technical and physical infrastructure here at the corporation. I must note the fact that if we want to stay cutting edge, we would have to invest in these arenas here at the corporation. I want our Family Island listeners and viewers to not feel left out of this equation at all. We will be placing a lot of emphasis on social media and other media platforms.
Press Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Clint Watson, acknowledging today that reporters stationed outside the OPM on Tuesday posed a logistical challenge. Reporters have long taken advantage of the opportunity to interview cabinet ministers before their weekly meeting. However, members of the media complained they were being blocked from doing so. Here's Watson's explanation.
It is a compact building with lots of staff and on a daily basis that is visited by members of the public and visitors alike, local and international. That makes it a logistical challenge for media to be camped out in the front door. It's also a logistical challenge because it's, as you said, the Office of Prime Minister, where Prime Minister's vehicles, cabinet ministers, when they arrive, they're pulled up. What happened on Tuesday, where reporters were placed, what we normally have, we heard people talk about the orange cones in your stories. It's normally there as a guide and a control so that traffic doesn't access that area where Prime Minister pulls up to park. And so it's a gateway and a control to people accessing the area.
Watson says there will now be a new process for reporters assigned to covering the weekly cabinet meeting.
So what we did was invite reporters upstairs to try and find a plausible solution that we can be able to still allow them to do their jobs while at the same time preserving the property with its security as well as those who visit with their privacy and confidentiality. All of these are important. And so we spoke to reporters and explained to them that we would perhaps like to use the room that we're in now, the press room, which is adjacent to the cabinet here. And it will be an opportunity for ministers before they enter the cabinet room to come into the press room based on their request and conduct their interviews here.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Life is better with Rubis Rewards. Just fuel up and swipe for your chance to win free fuel, cash back in our stores, restaurant and store discounts from our partners, plus prizes and surprises. It doesn't get better than this. Your Rubis Reward tag is free at every Rubis service station in New Providence. Get yours today. Rubis, it's just better.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
Fixed and mobile services provided by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions helps our customers help their customers adapt to the new way of paying for things. Digital Wallets makes your transactions faster, more convenient, and secure. Whether it's using a debit card at the grocery store or making online payments for your monthly expenses, Digital Wallets powered by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions makes it better. For more information on our fixed and mobile services, contact the experts at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Undecided about the COVID-19 vaccine or booster? Here are some facts to help you make a decision. The vaccine does not cause COVID-19 infection, and there's no evidence that it makes it worse. Approved vaccines are monitored for safety across the globe. Vaccines do not alter your DNA. The vaccine is effective against current variants of the COVID-19 virus. The vaccine can prevent severe illness if you do contract the virus. We're all in this together. Choose wisely.
Wait, that's you? Girl, don't be calling my name in public like that. What you saying?
Hey, radio, why you here?
Come to get my car license.
Yeah, but you don't have to be here?
No?
No, you could just go to My Gateway. My Gateway is a fast, easy, and secure way to access and pay all government services online.
So what you do?
I went to mygateway.gov.bs, registered with a government-issued ID, and bam, I was done. I scheduled an appointment, and in less than 20 minutes, I was straight.
Oh, shoot.
Environmental protection, the focus of a Ministry of the Environment and Natural Resources conclave today at Margaritaville. Department of Planning and Protection Director Dr. Rihanna Neely says the goal is to ensure the rules and regulations of recently enacted environmental legislation are being followed.
At the end of 2019, the Environmental Planning and Protection legislation was passed. The Ministry of Environment legislation was passed that created a Ministry of the Environment as well. And subsequent to that, we had the Access and Benefit Sharing legislation that was passed in 2020. These pieces of legislation have introduced changes to the way that we actually do work in the Bahamas. And so there was some confusion. There are some hiccups and some things that need to be addressed. So that is the purpose of this meeting this morning, to make sure that we get to hear the concerns of our partners and address them adequately.
The legislation gives the ministry more power to enforce the law.
With the access and benefit sharing legislation, we again had a situation where many people came to the country, and some Bahamians as well were conducting research in the Bahamas, and we had no idea what was going on. So this is a piece of legislation that is here to help us regulate what is going on in our Bahamian environment and to ensure that Bahamians have adequate and appropriate access and benefits from the things that we get from our environment. So with the environmental planning and protection legislation, you have to come to the department now to get clearance to do any large construction or any medium-sized construction, especially if it's foreign direct investment. And with the access and benefit sharing legislation, of course, you need to now apply to the department for a research permit, and we will be able to track throughout that whole entire process.
The National Cleanup Campaign, scheduled to start last week here in New Providence, has been postponed. Minister of Environment and Natural Resources, the Honorable Vaughn Miller, says there are some initial concerns that must be addressed.
Our National Cleanup Campaign will begin either the end of this month or early next month. We are making certain that the budget is in place, and it'll be done in a phased manner. So when we begin it, we'll be rolling out in phases. We need persons, again, to become involved with this. Persons who will volunteer to be part of our various committees as we go in various sectors of our island.
The Bahamas Feeding Network today received $300,000 from newly formed NGO, the Agricultural Development Organization. Board members presented the check to BFN's new Executive Director, Lester Ferguson, to assist with the charity's ongoing efforts to feed Bahamians in need.
I'm grateful on behalf of the chairman of the Bahamas Feeding Network, Felix Stubbs, to accept this wonderful donation from the Agricultural Development Organization. This will certainly go a long way in helping us to meet the many needs that exist all throughout our country. Currently, the Bahamas Feeding Network provides meals and resources to up to 3,000, sometimes 4,000 a month, persons a month, either through individuals or through the number of organizations, the feeding centers, the soup kitchens that we serve throughout New Providence. And so on behalf of all of them, we say thank you for this generous gift.
Since its recent launch, Agricultural Development Board Executive Chairman Philip Smith confirmed the organization's already established 15 committees to tackle national farming challenges. He explained how the Logistics and Distribution Committee will help farmers, while board member and Logistics Committee member Karen Casey addressed farmers' most pressing needs.
They will ensure that farmers produce the goods that are in greatest demand at the quality that is required, and that the goods get to the purchasers on time, consistently, that the volume required is also consistently delivered.
Financial resources are truly needed to support the tools, land, and facilities needed. But one of the most important needs is to develop the logistical link between the farmer and the end consumer. We must be able to efficiently transport product from the farm to the table while operating maintaining the safety and quality and freshness of the product.
February long been recognized as Black History Month in the United States, and this year's theme, Black Health and Wellness. But what about here at home, an island nation with a predominantly Black population? While the Bahamas may not formally recognize the month-long observance, there are a number of people who celebrate Blackness in their own way. In this report, our Lloyd Allen tells us of one woman's story of learning to love the skin she's in.
Just be you.
For 34-year-old Long Island native Dorcas Kemp, it took her many years to finally learn to love the skin she was given. Since her teens, Dorcas has been affected by a condition known as vitiligo. Impacting around 1% of the global population, vitiligo is diagnosed as a condition loss of pigment cells that can result in discolored patches in different areas of the body, including the skin, hair, and mucous membranes.
I had a regular childhood. It was a happy one. I was raised by my grandmother and my mom. I didn't know my dad until, 2 decades later when I was like 23. But I was brought up with my brother, my younger brother, and my older sister on my mom's side.
At the age of 14, she recognized something was different.
I began noticing a little white patch would come here, then it would go, and then it would come here, then it would go. And then it came here and it stayed. And when I noticed it wasn't going, at first I thought I had a low iron problem. Then I went to a local doctor here on the island and he diagnosed me with vitiligo.
Initially, she was told her condition was hereditary. Dorcas then attempted a number of skin treatments to no avail.
I got questions like, did you get burned? Were you in a car accident? Is it paint? Like, no, it's my skin. I lived with it from I was 14 and up until 3-4 years ago was when I came out about it. So I've been hiding it, I should say, for a very long time.
Eventually, she learned to appreciate the questions and has even taken her experience to another level. She's now an aspiring model and has started a personal campaign to encourage others to embrace their uniqueness.
Not even for people who have vitiligo, for other people who have many other skin conditions like psoriasis and the rest of those, just to let them know that, hey, you're not alone. You're definitely not standing alone. We're all unique. We're like this for a reason, and I just encourage them to embrace the skin that they're in.
Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
And for a little over a year, the Turn Gallery in Western New Providence has featured the work of local artists. This week, a new exhibition brings to life the creative genius of 4 of them. Here's Jimenita Swain.
So Stick It is a collage-based exhibition, and collage works are just works that takes multiple different media and puts it on paper.
Turn Gallery manager Jody Minnis summing up what Stick It is all about. The exhibition features the works of Bahamian artist Sydney Jasmine Colby, Stephen Smith, and Caribbean artist Ronald Cyril out of Guadeloupe, and Jerdy Hassel from Bermuda. Bold and unapologetic pretty much encapsulate Colby's pieces, which she says explores the works of the exoticized and sexualized gaze placed on Afro-Caribbean women.
You'd see in the background that I introduced motifs that are synonymous with the Bahamas. So you'd see like an androsia print, and then when you get to the body, as the same way I was talking about the works are looking at the way that women are viewed and almost a consumerist like way. So the body is comprised of fruit and meat. So you would have different Bahamian fruits like soursop, mami, sapodilla, and then the meats that you would see would be like red meat, conch, anything that I just thought looked interesting.
The elements featured in the collage include glitter as nail polish and crepe paper. Colby's bold pieces stack up well against those of her Caribbean counterparts, as Minnis admits.
This work is called Cutting Up by Stephen Schmidt. It is a digital collage with crayon, marker, and crayon pencils on paper, and this work signifies, or if you could think of being at like an outdoor family picnic and you're in a yard, and then references what the name of the title is, so Cutting Up, and Stephen specifically highlights that point of where the shyness moves into more familiarity. And then on the other side we have Ronald Cyril's work, and Ronald highlights the Creole dog in Guadeloupe, which would be our version of a pot cake. And he takes the dog and he morphs it with more humanistic figures and other animal figures to show of the surreal side of what the Caribbean landscape could be.
Sydney Jasmine has worked with art from childhood. Still, it was only in 2020 that she fully embraced art as a profession.
2 of the pieces have been sold already. This one behind me is going to Israel, and then another piece in the space is going to a wonderful collection in the Netherlands. So it's really exciting to know that my work is going to be in these international collections. I've also had the pleasure to show internationally with Turn. Last year in December we did the Untitled Art Fair in Miami, and that was a huge success. And this year we're also going to be going to another fair, the Future Fair in New York in May.
Jiminita Swain, ZNS Network News.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
We elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate.
You've heard me do an awful lot of talking about our fiber to the home upgrades, but now the reviews are in from our customers who are giving it overwhelmingly a thumbs up.
Yes, it was the best decision I made in reference to cable, TV, and internet. Very nice. I love it. It gives you a lot of channels that the previous people didn't have, so you have a lot of options.
Oh, it's been excellent. Excellent service, good communication. We had a little bit of a difficulty in this area in the beginning, but they were in constant communication with me, calling to see if it had come up and whatever. So it's been excellent.
Well, I must say, for a period of time during the hurricane, that BTC was really fighting with all men on deck to keep the communities at large in touch with families, most of them, far relatives or relatives abroad. But since then, and since BTC has been doing the work through all the communities, and now this new fiber optic plan, it's been pretty good. It's been basically stable.
Oh, yes. I want to thank and commend the team here in Abigail, Mr. Davis and the team. They are doing such a wonderful job. Every day you can see them on the road, reconnecting wires and just working hard. So I am very thankful for them.
We are holding our hearts and our hands in prayers, but we are still saying to BTC, thank you for the powerful upgrade so far in the Abacos.
Abaco is already feeling elevated, and in very short order, the rest of the country will be as well. These are the moments that move us. I'm Corbell Pyfrom. Be well, and be back here. Next, BTC Connection.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
You watch them grow and make plans for them even before they're old enough to talk. You spend a lifetime of sacrifice to pave the way for their success and create a tomorrow you too can be proud of. Can you tell who is the investor? At Leno, we believe everyone who has ever put a penny aside for a future dream is an investor. If you're new to investing, Leno's financial experts stand ready to design plans based on your goals. Let's sit down and explore the options one-on-one and see how, together, we can make your dreams come true. Whether considering traditional investments like a new home, car, your own business, security in retirement, or your child's college fund, we take the confusion out of the process and make an investor out of you. Call 396-3225 for an appointment. Leno, your bridge to the future.
Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
If you would love to save on your favorites this February, then shop Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. 1, 2, 3 or budget ramen noodles, 3 ounce, 5 for $1. Livy's Vienna sausages, 4.6 ounce, 99 cents. Western vegetable oil, 48 ounce, $4.99. Gala apples, 3-pound bag, $3.99. Sweet oranges, 4-pound bag, $3.99. February specials you will love are at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
The government taking steps to revitalize the Bahamas Agriculture and Marine Science Institute, or BAMSI, in North Andros. Paving the way for this to happen is a BAMSI bill Agriculture Minister, the Honourable Clay Sweeting, tabled in the House of Assembly on Wednesday.
The BAMSI legislation yesterday, it was really created to provide for the establishment, the incorporation, the governance, control, administration of a board of BAMSI. So what this does is it really properly creates a proper format for the institute itself, and also provides it with a mandate. And this is our first step in providing proper food security through BAMSI.
Plans are also underway to transform the institute.
We're going back to the original intent of BAMSI, which was to facilitate being an institute and also provide farmers, new as well as seasoned farmers, with the proper technical assistance and support they need to become successful. Food security, of course, is paramount in our country, and I think over the past 2 years, the pandemic has even made it more relevant, and we all understand the need for providing food nationwide. So BAMSI will assist us in doing that. It will also assist in providing proper support to persons who want to go to school.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makishla. Outside of our studios, partly cloudy skies tonight. 75 degrees is the current temperature. Relative humidity at 73%. The winds are out of the east-southeast at 14 miles per hour. Barometric pressure 1,020.7 millibars. That's 30.16 inches. And the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 75 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Toll Key, and Marsh Harbor, Abaco. The Berry Islands also 75. Alistown, Bimini, 74 degrees, 75 in Harbor Island, Roxanne, Eleuthera, Black Point, Exuma, Kemp Space on Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Island. There's more 75s in Alderstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rem Key, Georgetown, Exuma, 76. 76 again in Ragged Island, Clarence Sound, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Meguana, 77. Ackland, 77. Matthew, Taninago, also 77. And Turks and Caicos Islands at 78 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center. In the Northwestern Islands, tonight, right through Friday, you can anticipate a southeast flow at 12 to 18 knots. The wave heights 3 to 6 feet over the ocean. High tide takes place tonight at 9:44. Another high tide at 10:04 tomorrow morning for the central and southeastern parts of our country right into Friday. East to southeast winds at 15 to 20 knots, and the wave heights 4 to 7 feet. Caution flags remain in place for the central and southeast Bahamas. And then on Saturday, in the northwestern islands, the winds fall off light and variable with flat seas 1 to 3 feet. High tide takes place at 10:50 in the morning. Low tide at 5:12 in the afternoon for the central and southeastern islands on Saturday. East to southeast winds 12 to 18 knots, the wave heights 3 to 6 feet. So we maintain the caution flags through Saturday for the central and southeast Bahamas. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
rising sun. It's bonefish season and they on the run. I gotta find bonefish fully to catch.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
He's so meek and lowly.
AID has everything you need and more to complement your home's decor. Luxurious bamboo bath towels, face towels from $1.25 and bath towels from $5.45. Shower curtains from $2.54 and organizers in stylish finishes. Bath mat sets from $7.27 in a multitude of styles and colors. Bed sheet sets from $9.95 and 7-piece comforter sets from $49.95. Doormats from $1.93 with matching runners and hundreds of area carpets. Sofa covers from $19.95, plain and crushed sheer curtains from $5.25 and thousands of panels to choose from. Blinds from $7.02 and curtain rods from $2.89. Ceramic and porcelain dishes, tablecloths, napkins, placemats, utensils, and more. A wide selection of drinking glasses, including elegant stemware, candle holders, vases, and crystal. Full-size mirrors, decorative pictures, and picture frames. AID, Wolf Road, and the Mall at Marathon open late and on Sundays to serve your decorating needs. AID, all you really need and more.
When you want to save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you want to look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Good to grow. Keeping you in the know. Keeping you in the know. Cause if it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. If it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
Executive Chairman of the Bahamas Agricultural Industrial Corporation, Leroy Major, says his first goal is to facilitate, encourage, and to stimulate the process of agriculture here in the Bahamas.
The vision for BAIC is to get BAIC back to where it's supposed to be, where we want to be the major distributor of Bahamian authentic products in the Bahamas, whether it's agriculture, whether it's craft, and even create new industries in the Bahamas.
According to Major, he intends to enhance each arm of the corporation, starting with the produce exchange, which allows farmers from across the Bahamas to sell their produce in a safe and profitable manner.
There was, I think, a limit that the former government put in place to streamline the process of farmers' intake. I spoke with the minister, and he's keen about removing that limitation.
Major would like to see more Nasuvian farmers taking part in the produce exchange.
Produce that comes into through the produce exchanges from the family islands. So I would like the farmers, number one, to produce more in Nassau, that again we can utilize it. Now, the Bahamian populace, they are taking advantage of the produce that are in the produce exchange.
These are more organic, right? So that's why I like to come here. In the food store, they're not organic. And when you go in the food store to look for organic items, you pay a lot of money for them. People, for some stuff you buy at the food store, when you get it, by the time that even, it's only water because I had it in the freezer first, and then the thaw, it's only water. So it's best to come here and get your fresh stuff.
Because most of all, it's fresh, it's cheaper than going to the supermarket, and they're grown here.
Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Look, I don't know who Sean they think I am, all right? I only win 2 BAISS championships. I deal with connectivity.
Alive. What do we got?
Well, we are 100% Bahamian owned, and we inspired all Bahamians to believe in best. And we delivered on revolutionizing telecommunications in the Bahamas. Not to mention, our network works in the good days and the bad.
Thank you. But I need you to go faster. Be better.
Fix
in mobile services provided by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions helps our customers help their customers adapt to the new way of paying for things. Digital Wallets makes your transactions faster, more convenient, and secure. Whether it's using a debit card at the grocery store or making online payments for your monthly expenses, Digital Wallets powered by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions makes it better. For more information on our fixed and mobile services, contact the experts at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Education and Technical and Vocational Training's Community Walkabout Task Force today went into the Freetown community to target those students and families of children who were not engaged on the LMS since the start of the pandemic. Included in this task force were parents, teachers, administrators, educational officials, union members, church stakeholders. They were all engaged, knocking from door to door to find out what those concerns are and to address them. This older sibling explains that her 7-year-old brother is currently not registered in school.
Well, with the electricity, that's no problem with that part. But when it comes down to internet, we don't have internet source for him to be online. I knew, like, during the COVID time, my sister, she also went to school, but she grew to school in Elutra, and they give her the tablet along with the little Wi-Fi box, so she could still have the Wi-Fi as she could be online. So I guess with them, they'll be doing the same thing.
This father of 9-year-old twins admits that his children have not been in school since 2020. Okay, why aren't they engaged in school right now?
They did have working devices, but they're not working right now because they're crashed, they're destroyed. It's not our fault. I mean, it is our fault as parents, but, you know, we couldn't log in, so we just let them just enjoy the little cartoons and stuff until it crashed out.
Education Minister Glenys Hannah Martin says this is the first of many other community initiatives where stakeholders go around and walk about it to ensure that all of our students in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas are engaged in learning. For Ed Talk, I'm Adama Williams.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, satellite pictures showing high pressures in control, and that's rendering near clear skies throughout the 700 islands. But there is a frontal system. It's right now around the Texas area that is pushing towards the south and east. We expect it to move into the northwest Bahamas sometime on Saturday. It will stall north of the capital and then back up as a warm front. The next good look we'll have at the front will be next week, Thursday. So until then, we'll have to contend with some warmer days, but relatively mild nights. Tonight, we're going in for clear and mild conditions, 67 degrees for your low temperature, and tomorrow it's going to be a very pleasant day with lots of sunshine, 79 degrees for your high temperature. The extended weather forecast over the next 7 days, we're going to keep you pretty nice in the upper 70s right through the 70 cycle. Nighttime temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. But then come Thursday, you see the clouds will cloud up, and we'll have some showers moving in as that frontal system moves through. Orchestra.
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
You are about to connect with people who are ready to bring you the most open, honest, and revealing life stories. Welcome to Journey TV.